Hey all, today I'm putting lowering springs on a 2013 Hyundai Sonata, and I've already got the fronts done. There's a few videos out there on how to, basically it's just removing the strut and replacing the front spring, so you can look that one up, but I couldn't find too much on the rear. So I had to pretty much figure it out myself. Basically, I've already got it out and got one side in, but I just wanted to show you what has to be done here. There's a bolt on the lower control arm that has to be removed, and what you want to do is make sure you've got the car jacked up and the load is off the wheel when you're doing this. And then what you'll want to do is get another jack up under here and support the lower control arm while you're doing this. And I found that you will have to remove the bolts for the anti-sway bar, and there's a bolt down on the bottom here. Actually, it goes right there. The tie rod and the sway bar goes through there, so that'll be the first thing that you want to remove when you take the old spring out. And again, you can actually remove that without having the lower control arm supported, but when you take this bolt out of the hub assembly, you want to make sure that the lower control arm is fully supported, because if you don't, and first of all, you'll probably never get the bolt out of there. Secondly, if you do get the bolt out, this thing is going to come crashing down because it's got all that spring force on it. So once you get that down, you can actually push this down and the spring just comes right out of there. And there's a rubber boot on top of the spring that has to go back in there, and the spring has to be aligned with, there's like a detent for the end of the coil on the bottom. You want to make sure that the rubber boots are in there and you got the spring in the proper position. Now, when putting this thing back up, you just do it in reverse order. And I'm going to get the jack underneath the lower control arm, and you may have to do some alignment on the bushing here and the hole, obviously, to get the bolt back in. But I'm not going to go through all that. It's pretty self-explanatory from here. But anyway, I hope this helps someone. And the car looks great, lowered, by the way. So, okay, that's all. Okay, so here's the finished product. The H&R springs drop the car exactly 1 inch all the way around, and it's actually looking pretty good. The rear was actually quite easy, much easier than the front, because the springs are by themselves and the shocks are separate from the springs. So all you have to do is loosen that sway bar, take that nut off for the sway bar, and then support the lower control arm and remove the big nut, and then drop it down with the jack and pull the spring out. So that's all. Looking pretty good.